Simon, Trevor, Steve Bruce has spoken exclusively to Luke Edwards of The Telegraph. So this is the first time we are hearing from Steve Bruce since the announcement this morning that he has gone from the football club. And Steve says this: I think this might be my last job. It is not just about me. It's taken its toll on my whole family because they are all Geordies and I can't ignore that. Steve goes on to say they'd all been worried about him, especially his wife Jan. He says, what an amazing woman she is. Incredible. She's a fantastic woman. A wife, mother, grandmother. She's dealt with the death of my parents. Hers have not been very well. And then she had me to worry about and what I've been going through in the last couple of years. And Steve Bruce says, I can't take her for granted. She spent her whole life following me around from football club to football club. And if I was to say to her tomorrow, I've been offered a job in China or anywhere, she would say, Steve, is this right for you? Do you want to do it? And she'd back me again, he says. Steve Bruce says, I'm 60 now. I don't know if I want to put her through that again. We've got a good life. So yeah, this will probably be me done as a manager until I get a phone call from a chairman somewhere asking if I can give them a hand. Never say never. I've learned that. What do you think, Simon? Do you think that is it for him?
No, I don't think so. Right now it is, because if you're coming off a bruising experience, you're, irrespective of the financial rectification and compensation that will come out of a contract that was probably agreed by Mike Ashley, shifting the obligation onto the Saudis to pay him properly, there will always be a feeling of regret and challenge in his mind right now. He's right. Janet is a very strong lady. She's a big influence in his life and a big support mechanism. She was great with him when he was down with me at Palace, and I spent time with them when he was up at Birmingham, despite the vitriol between me and Sullivan and Gold when they owned Birmingham. Look, he will reflect upon his time. He will restock his his energy levels, and I think we'll probably see him again, but I don't think any time soon. I think he'll go away and think about things and look at the world and know, irrespective of a significant proportion of vociferous noise from Newcastle fans, he will know what he had to do at Newcastle. He will know the conditions he worked under. He will know what it was like to work for Mike Ashley. He will know what it was like to follow Rafa Benitez and the fans' perception of Rafa Benitez, and he will know what it took, irrespective of style and content, to put Newcastle 12th and 13th from the league.
Yes.
And he will take that away, and in the cold light of day, when everything settles down and all the emotion comes out of it, he will look back on it as a journey and an experience that maybe he would have liked to have ended better, but he got to manage the club that he wanted to manage.
Yeah.
And he did a decent job, irrespective of whether Newcastle fans, or segments of them, don't think that he did, and don't think that he was the right fit for them. Well,
many fans jumping on the back of those quotes. Trevor, I can tell you, Jamie is a fan of Hull in York. He says, we'd take him back at Hull in a minute. He was popular at the club. The club loves him. We love him. We'd always love him. We'd have him back.
Yeah, I've got too much respect for Steve. And, he's obviously got a fantastic companion in his wife, Jan. Anyone who's lost a parent, I've lost a parent, it's a life-changing experience. And for Steve to take on that job, it's a job that he's always wanted. To take that takes a huge amount of bravery to take that job anyway, because he would have been hurting. It is a life-changing situation. So for me, I look at the human aspect. I think he's done the job that a lot of managers didn't want to take. He's kept them in the Premier League.
Yeah.
He's walking away from the game now. And like Simon said, he's hurt. He might be his last. Listen, he will recover from this, and hopefully football doesn't lose him, because he's a good guy. He's been in the game for an awful long time, and I hope he stays in the game.
Careful, Trevor. You will fall into the category of his mates in the media.
I know. Yeah, I don't
protect
really
his
know.
Back.
Listen, I've messaged Alex, and I've just said, listen, I hope you're all right in the family, and I hope Steve's okay.
Alex,
I wish
Steve's
son. Yeah, because listen. Football is a big family, and
of course.
We might have different paths. We might play for different football clubs and different colours, but we're all in the same boat.
What we do know is Graham Jones will lead the team on an interim basis, and that starts on Saturday with the trip to Crystal Palace. That one's live on talkSPORT 2. He'll be supported by Steve Agnew, Stephen Clements, Ben Dawson and Simon Smith. So beyond that, and remember, the Saudis are saying this morning, the new owners, the process of recruiting a new head coach is underway. An appointment will be announced in due course. So Graham Jones for the time being, but who after that? Let me tell you, we have 5 names in the frame this lunchtime. Paulo Fonseca, one-time Roma coach, Simon, you and I know him. Lucien Favre, that came a bit left field last week. Eddie Howe, is in there. Steven Gerrard is in there. You heard the former Rangers captain Arthur Newman saying, I think Gerrard will stay at Rangers for at least another 2 years. And Frank Lampard. Those are the 5 names in the frame this lunchtime. Fonseca, Fabra, Howe, Gerrard and Lampard. Can you pick me one out of that, Trevor? Who's capable of turning these players around and starting to get them winning again?
Well, I mean, it's a massive task. I've got to say that, because whatever players you're getting, and the players that I played against at Newcastle when they were really at it under Sir John Hall, you're talking about Shearer, Soles, Ginola, Robley. Not so much Ginola because he was a fantastic player, but he didn't have the attributes that the other. They would run through brick walls for that football club. Les would. I'd see him go up for headers that he had no right to win. Same with Shearer. And then you've got other players coming through the academy like Lee Clark and Steve Watson. This is what Newcastle fans want to see. So it's all right having a massive checkbook, but if you bring in players who want money, and I think Manchester City made a few mistakes early doors with your Fabinhos and things like that. If you've got a huge war chest, so to speak, and you start getting in the wrong players that are not going to run through brick walls for Newcastle and from the black and white stripes of that jersey, you could find yourself in a real situation come the end of the season.
I mean, I'm just reeling off 5 names. And the bookies, who, of course, tell us everything is gospel, are saying they're the ones. Could be something totally different that we haven't thought of.
Of course it could be. I mean, I look at that list, and of course Lucien Favre was a manager that Palace wanted to take and thought they had got him. So he's obviously someone that clubs in that division rate. Fonseca was booted out of Roma because he didn't lift up any great trees, but Newcastle was a work in progress. Frank, this is a difficult job they're taking on there, and your experience of relegation is probably very limited.
But recruitment-wise, he's got a bit. He knows a lot of players.
Of course, but we're recruiting for Newcastle that are in a relegation battle, not recruiting for Chelsea that are trying to win Champions League or the Premier League. So it's a very different dynamic. I look at none of those. I don't think Steven Gerrard leaves Rangers anytime soon. And certainly not for Newcastle at this stage in Newcastle's development. So I look at these 5 and think to myself, Eddie Howe. I know, like I sound, I've got a downer on Eddie Howe, but on his resume is to manage Bournemouth with a very different level of expectation, with a very different set of dynamics that got them relegated in the end, and didn't seem to me to want to go and manage a powerhouse like Celtic. So I don't think Eddie Howe's your answer either. But look, these guys are going to make their mistakes, and they're going to make their appointments based upon what they see and what they think. The key is, for this football club, it would be a waste of time for them to get relegated. It's unnecessary. They've got enough talent going forward. Fix the defence.
Exactly. Well, Newcastle have got to start winning games and win them now.
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.